As someone who was unable to watch the Netflix Marvel shows growing up, I was intrigued when Marvel Studios announced that Daredevil would be getting a new series, titled Daredevil Born Again. I had some idea about what the Netflix series was about, but I never delved into it in detail. With the original cast coming back in this series, fans were ecstatic to finally have Daredevil in the MCU canon. One question that fans had alike was whether or not the Netflix series would have any tie to this new series. Marvel originally wanted to tie the series into the original by a lot, but ultimately decided to include references to past events and have this series work as a soft reboot to the franchise. With Season 1 coming to an end not too long ago, and Season 2 coming next year, let's take a look back at Season 1. The MCU timeline is all over the place with the new films and shows, as they are not released in chronological order. However, we do know that Season 1 takes place between December 2026 and April 2027. The opening to the show shows us Matt, Karen, and Foggy, and everything seems to be fine. Foggy then gets a call, and this is where things turn from good to bad. Foggy is shot, and Matt is unable to determine where the shot came from until he does. Daredevil then sees that it was Poindexter, also known as Bullseye, who shot him from an apartment building and chases him down. They end up fighting, and Daredevil ends up beating him, but the damage is done, because Foggy Nelson is dead. This decision to kill Foggy in the first few minutes of the season was a bold one by Marvel. It is confirmed that both Foggy and Karen will return for Season 2. Whether Foggy could still be alive or there will be a flashback scene or scenes, we will see the character on screen once again. In the aftermath of Foggy's death, a year had passed. Karen had moved to San Francisco and Matt had given up the moniker of Daredevil. Matt felt that he was responsible for Foggy's death because of the Daredevil connection. This is something that Matt carries with him throughout the first few episodes, and it is only until something happens that he decides he has to be Daredevil to keep those around him safe. Wilson Fisk, who was known as the Kingpin, is running for the mayor of New York. This was teased at the end of the Echo series. At the end of episode 1, we see that Kingpin has won the election, and we get this iconic scene with Matt and Wilson, which makes it seem as if they are looking at each other. We see throughout the series that Kingpin wants to change New York, and the one rule that he has in place is that there are to be no more vigilantes, and all those who disobey this order will face the consequences. We further see this when Matt and Wilson sit down for a talk, and Kingpin further emphasizes this to Matt, giving him a warning, or as many see it, a threat. At the end of the Netflix series, Kingpin is arrested and Vanessa, who is Kingpin's wife, is left alone. In the aftermath of those events, it is revealed that Kingpin went away by himself to recover from a fight with Deadpool at the end of Season 3, and Vanessa has been pulling the strings for their empire ever since. From their first on-screen appearance in this first season, you can tell that not everything is right, and there seems to be tension. This is further emphasized when Adam is brought up, and he is the man that Vanessa was seeing when she and Kingpin split. Throughout the first season, their relationship does get better, and Vanessa even signs him up for counseling with Heather Glenn, whom we will get into later. Let's go over Hector Ayala, who is the White Tiger. We see that Hector is charged with the murder of a police officer when he tries to help a man on the train station platform. We also learn that these police officers were not up to any good and that they were in fact corrupt officers who later ended up working for Kingpin. Matt ends up taking the case on to help Hector get out of this trouble. Matt went to the witness, Nikki Torres, as he was the only one who would be able to testify against the police department. Matt gets to Torres before the police can, and Matt has a fight with the officers but easily overpowers them. On the day of the court hearing, Torres takes a stand but is too scared of what the police will do to him if he testifies against them, and he does not do it. With no other options left, Matt reveals that Hector is the White Tiger to try to swing the jury to his side. Matt did this because the White Tiger would help people throughout New York and did not cause any harm, and Matt used this to their advantage to get Hector off the hook. This works, and Hector is eventually released. He ends up going out as a White Tiger once again at night, and he is shot dead in the head, but we are not sure who was the one that shot him as there is no appearance on screen. Kingpin also assembles an anti-vigilante unit, which consists of many corrupted cops. I want to get into the two main villains of this season. We know that Poindexter, who is Bullseye, killed Foggy at the beginning of the season, but we do not see him until later towards the end of the season, because he is put into prison. Let's get into Muse. Muse was an interesting character, and it was intriguing to see how and why he does what he does. For those who don't know, Muse extracts blood from his victims before killing them and uses their blood to paint murals across New York. We get to see this firsthand how he kidnaps and extracts the blood from his victims when he kidnaps Angela, who is Hector Ayala's niece. This is when Matt decides that he has to become Daredevil once again as crime is ramping up in the city, and he swore to protect Angela after what happened with Hector. Daredevil tracks Muse down to his hideout, which is underneath the city where the train system is. Daredevil and Muse have an intense fight, and Daredevil does end up defeating Muse, but Muse does eventually escape. Angela is safe, but the anti-vigilante unit appears, and Daredevil is forced to make a quick escape. Let's talk about Heather Glenn. She is a counselor, and she is the love interest to Matt. In the early parts of the season, everything seems to be going smoothly for them, but when Matt becomes Daredevil again, cracks start to happen in their relationship as he starts to not answer Heather's calls and starts to not show up. This is even further worsened when Heather becomes Kingpin's and Vanessa's counselor. As I mentioned earlier, they had cracks in their relationship that needed rebuilding and Vanessa sought out Heather. This did not sit well with Matt because of his connection to Kingpin, but Heather did not know about their connection, only that Matt did not like Wilson. Later in the season, Heather is invited to the ball, which is hosted by the Fisk. This brings us back to Poindexter. Poindexter is locked away after the first episode, but then he returns later in the last 2 episodes as he escapes custody and goes to the ball that Kingpin is hosting. Poindexter goes to the ball and attempts to kill Kingpin, and he almost does until Matt throws himself in the way and takes the bullet. The reason that Poindexter wanted to do this is revealed in the finale. Matt went to give Poindexter a visit earlier and tried to squeeze any information that he could from him. Matt, using his skills, is able to deduce that Vanessa was the one who hired Poindexter to have Foggy killed. This is confirmed through a flashback scene showing Vanessa going to Poindexter and pulling strings to grant his release so that he would be able to kill Foggy. Vanessa also guaranteed his freedom, and this is why Poindexter wants to kill Kingpin. The reason for why Vanessa wanted Foggy killed is because he discovered Red Hook, which is a legal loophole for illegal activities. Vanessa is able to launder money, have illegal imports using the free port as a legal loophole. A free port does not fall under the jurisdiction of the city and can therefore not be investigated. This allows Vanessa to have her laundering scheme and nothing will happen. Vanessa uses the port to store art, disguising the money laundering. Foggy's client was connected to Red Hook, but Foggy did not know that Red Hook was connected to the Fisk. Foggy was going to win his case, and this would have exposed that Red Hook was a free port, revealing this to the public and jeopardizing the Fisk's business. This is why Vanessa had Foggy killed. Nothing beyond this was revealed, as this was revealed in the finale, connecting the dots from the beginning. We will get more revealed to us, and this will be answered in season 2. In the latter half of the season is when we get to see the Punisher return. When we first see him, it is just for a few brief moments, and Matt and Frank talk about Foggy and how that is affecting Matt. Matt was also looking for Frank because the bullet shell that took Hector's life was marked with the Punisher symbol. Frank does not care about anything, and he does not want to be involved in anything. It is only when Karen reaches out to Frank after Matt is shot following Poindexter's escape that he helps Daredevil and starts to care about what is going on. The fight scene in the finale when Daredevil and Punisher fight against Kingpin's task force is great. Daredevil does not want to kill because that is not what he does, but the Punisher only kills. After this, Frank still does not want to be involved in anything and lets Matt and Karen go figure everything out alone. This is until Frank is listening to the radio of the task force and he decides to go and try to do something. He's eventually captured and is held captive, as we see in the final shots of the season. In the end credit, we see that Frank talks to one of the task force members in a friendly manner, only to lure him and break in his arm, and perhaps this is how he escapes. As it is confirmed that Frank will return for season 2 and his own special presentation, as well as Spider-Man Brand New Day. Matt and Karen go to the port and Daredevil wants to go in and fight everyone, but Karen tells him that what he'll do is get himself killed. This is where Daredevil says that they need an army to take on Kingpin, as he can't do it alone. This is setting up the foreground for the Defenders to come into play. At the end of the season, Kingpin puts in new laws into place. All vigilante activity will be illegal and those who disobey will be dealt with. Citizens also now have a curfew of 8 p.m. Kingpin's reign is here and only those capable can stop him. This season was a great entry for those who had never seen the Netflix series and also for those returning fans. This series did many things right and there is always room for improvement. One of the slower episodes of the season was episode 5, which took place in a bank, and Yusuf Khan, who is Kamala Khan's dad, made an appearance. Despite this being one of the slower episodes and being a filler episode, it was still a good episode. There were not many negatives with this season. There are many unanswered questions leading into next season, the main being what else could the Fist be hiding in Red Hook and other venues. The Defenders being teased for season 2 is also exciting. Jessica Jones has been confirmed to return for season 2, and to those Netflix fans, this is exciting. Other members such as Iron Fist and Luke Cage have not been confirmed as of yet, but with this being the route the writers are taking, it is sure to happen soon. Did you enjoy season 1? Which characters could we see in season 2? And does Red Hook have a deeper secret? Comment down below. Follow us on X at Films HQ. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like and hit the subscribe button to help the channel grow. Turn on notifications to never miss an upload, and until next time, God bless. See you soon.